story of Mr. Grey. I'm sure it will make you sway. So, why wait? Let's start it right away. Mr. Grey was very sad with his tragic past. So he moved to a new town into a small apartment for a fresh start. But then pandemic started, lockdown mandated. The network reception in the room was terrible, social interaction was almost not possible. His neighbor couple had loud fight in middle of the night. Mr. Grey was pretty much in his room all day, still clinging to his past, all alone. He woke up today, just like every other day, with puffy eyes, heavy heart, and little sleep. With one hand on his back, other on his pink toothbrush, he stood before the sink, facing mirror, wondering his life would get any better. He then brewed his coffee, poured it in a yellow mug, grabbed some random book, and came to balcony. The balcony faced the sun. The sky was bright. Birds were singing and flying around. He took a glance around. An old granny sat in a balcony in the opposite apartment, muttering something to herself. The other balcony had a guy in his teens, headphones wrapped around his ears, a cigarette hanging from his fingers, closed eyes, hip hopping to the beats. A sad auntie was drying clothes in another, yelling at her husband. All of a sudden, the wind blew. His heart fluttered as he saw the other balcony, the one he never noticed before. His eyes caught a girl standing in a pale black kurta, leaning on the balcony railing, soaking the first rays of the sun, with a yellow mug in her hand, just like his. Her fingers toyed with her hair curls. She hummed to a song he couldn't hear. Her lips pressed together a little too much each time she took a sip from the mug. He found her so beautiful, as if the whole universe was holding together with her charm. He couldn't stop looking at her. Who is she? He asked himself. Is she new here? मैंने कभी नहीं देखा पहले इनको. वो कॉफ़ी पी रही है या चाय? उसको मूवीज जाना पसंद है क्या? Oh, no, she's looking here. He quickly turned his head. After a few seconds, he turned to the balcony. This time, she was holding a pure white Persian cat with a fancy black mixed red belt tied around its neck. It had a dear little punk nose on its squashed little face. He didn't like much of pets. Well, he never had one. Before he could realize that, she disappeared into her apartment. He felt like his dream being slipping away. He felt butterflies in his stomach. His lips couldn't stop smiling. He couldn't sit. He couldn't stand. He danced. He sang. Often he peeked through a balcony for a little look, but with no luck. "ये क्या हो रहा है मुझे?" he asked the room. He then grabbed a book from his bookshelf, and the title read, "Love at First Sight." Oh no, not this one. It's almost evening, Mr. Grey sighed. Time for another coffee, he thought. Just he was about to get for the kitchen, he heard a bell, ting-tong. He opened the door and couldn't believe his luck. The balcony girl stood there with messed hair, pale lips, browsing frown. She looked worried and she said to him, "Hi, sorry to bother you. Actually, Mr. Thurman is missing. I mean, my cat. He is white with black belt on his neck. मैं सुबह से देख रही हूँ, कहीं नहीं मिल रहा है. किराना शॉप अंकल ने बताया कि he saw him entering in this building. So I was just checking around. Have you seen him by any chance?" Mr. Gray stood there frozen. As much as he wanted to kick himself out of it, he could not. She was confused and she said to him, "Hello, excuse me, mister, मैं आपसे ही बात कर रही हूँ." Mr. Gray shook with excitement and he presented his most stupid face as possible and he said to her, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You mean cat? No, नहीं मैंने नहीं देखा." Her face turned pale and she said, "Oh, okay. Sorry. In case अगर आप देखें तो प्लीज़ नीचे शॉप में अंकल को बता दीजिएगा." As she was ready to live with the disappointment, Mr. Gray knew he cannot let go of this moment. He said out loud in a shrill voice, "Oh, wait. Maybe I can be of some help. साथ में सर्च करें?" A brief silence filled up the place. The girl hesitated for a while, and after a lot of calculations in her little brain, she said to him, "Sure, thanks a lot." While Mr. Gray was relieved, and just in a moment they were about to start, they heard a cry. Meow. There was Mr. Thurman at his door. She looked like she'd never been so happy. She quickly grabbed Mr. Thurman close to her chest, caressed his fur gently, and gave him a series of kisses. Mr. Gray looked this for a while, and he smiled and said to her, "Well, now why not celebrate this union over a cup of coffee?" She grinned. She looked at him and said, "Of course." Mr. Gray was now in blues. Mr. Gray's house then filled with fresh coffee of aroma and also, the aroma of love. Maybe you call it a cliche, like it just happens in the movies or the books. Maybe it's really a love at first sight, or maybe not. Maybe it's infatuation, or just the hormones in the brain. Maybe it's a destiny or just a coincidence. But 8 to 9 billion people in this world. Yet to that one person, his heart searched. Everything in the world woke up today to make this meeting happen. Puffy eyes, the pink toothbrush, the half-read book, the balcony, the kirana shop uncle, the yellow coffee mug, the missing cat. Everything destined together to make this moment possible. You know what they say? Love is a bonding between two hearts, not the eyes. But you know what they also say? Eyes are window to the heart.